Welcome back, guys. So, funny story, I had all this recorded yesterday, and I didn't actually record it. So, no big deal, neither here nor there. I looked at the footage I did have, and it wasn't that great anyway, so no big deal. We're going to go over some things today that I got going on, and kind of show you guys what the plan ahead is, and get started. So we got visited by the Magic Parts Fairy, and here's what we got. The ring showed up for this block, the 255, 257. So we'll get those sorted. SuperTech valves I bought, and they came with these cams. I only have 3 out of the 4 because he had 2 right exhausts, and I need a right intake. No big deal. Already talked to Brian Crowder, and they're going to give me a quote to get the right side intake replaced, and then that'll be everything. I dropped those heads off to the machine shop last week, and I have another set of W25 heads I dropped off yesterday. And so basically the minty fresh W25 heads that came with those cams and valves, I'm going to do an OEM rebuild basically with a set of GSC springs, stock STI cams, those heads, SuperTech valve seals, and have everything pressure tested, decked, and all that kind of jazz, and just sell them. And we'll use that money to fund back into this project so we can finish up 255, 57 setup exactly how we want it. Now, what are we going to do with it? I thought about it long and hard, and I think I'm just going to put it in the car. Put it in the car with a blown up engine, and based on my research over the last couple of weeks, there is definitely no shortage of blown up STIs on Marketplace, I promise you. And it just so happens I found one in particular that is owned by a JDM enthusiast, fellow veteran as well, who's a business owner that has not 1, not 2, but 3 GTRs. Yes, the Trinity, a 32, a 33, and a 34 back in Japan, as well as a SW22. That's the Turbo MR2 if you're not familiar, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he bought a 13 World Rally Blue STI for a daily, but since he has all of the projects, literally, didn't have any need for it. So we're going to get this done, get that Subaru out there done, and then see about possibly acquiring said STI, throw this engine in it, get everything set up, get it tuned, turbos, all that kind of stuff, and shoot some content with it, send it down the road. So we'll see what happens as we get closer, because I do have this GTO still, and right now we're in the drivetrain phase while we figure out what we're going to do with everything else while the parts are on their way. So check it out. I picked up this gem. Both of these are T56s. This one's out of a GTO. This one's out of a C5 Corvette. And so this part right here is specific to the all-wheel drive conversion. The problem is that conversion requires a TR6060, mainly because, see where this shifter hole is? Well, on the 6060s, they're up there, which makes sense. Because if all of this is here, plus the adapter from Tony, plus the transfer case, where's the shifter go? Not only that, the TR6060 is significantly stronger than the T56s. So it's just a win-win all around. So I don't have any need for these. All I need is that housing adapter. So what I'm going to do is pull that housing off. I already located a company to 3D scan it and make a CAD design and see if we can print it / have it built as a reproduction item for a whole lot of people around the world, mostly in Australia, who need this part. So instead of just throwing it in the car and continue on with my build, since I have tons of time, a little over a month, until the front end gets here, and that's not even including the time it takes to clear customs, we're going to see if we can solve a problem for everyone else looking to do this build in Australia or anywhere else using CR6060 in their cars, which is good on a lot of reasons. 1, we solve a problem for other enthusiasts like ourselves. 2, should everything go according to plan, or in theory, it helps us fund this project, right? Capitalism. So if you're like me and you're always continually looking for ways to do these things and keep these projects rolling without losing an arm or a leg, solving a major parts problem is one of them. So that's what we're working on here in the background. So I want to get these transmissions either rebuilt or sold as is, send them on down the road, take that money, put it into the manufacturing process of this remanufacturing of this adapter, which is no longer available. It's discontinued for quite a few years now, while simultaneously finishing our budget EJ marketplace find so that we can put it in a car. Tailgate Con is in September, so realistically, should all the stars align and everything, we could finish that engine, put it in a car, take that car to Tailgate Con with a for sale sign, and see if anybody wants it. As long as everything done, cheap enough, not like bargain basement cheap, but reasonably cheap enough, and self-propelled enough to where it's a no-brainer. So we'll see how far I get with that. In the meantime, we have this green Subaru here that I need running soon. Mostly because we're very tired of taking a certain teenager to work. Especially on the weekends when we're trying to get other things done. So, neither here nor there. We'll get that going. We'll get this 25D taken care of. There's the crank there. Rods. Waiting on O-rings, because these blocks have O-rings for the coolant and the oil inside there, and you have to use a special silicone, which I already have here, before you can put the block halves together. And I have everything else, but I'm waiting on those O-rings, and they should be here tomorrow. So hopefully this weekend we can start assembling this EJ25D. I got to get some ring compressors to slide the pistons in and put it together. I mean, outside of all the machine work and a couple of special items like the O-rings and, the silicone or whatever, it goes together like any other engine. So that's what we're shooting for, is to get the long block done. I went to the machine shop yesterday to pick up the heads, but the heads aren't done yet. Stanley goes on vacation today, so no big deal, because I'm still waiting on parts to put this long block together. So it's not like a super huge deal. The goal here is to get that long block and the car ultimately done and running this month. So we got a little bit of time to meet that deadline that I set for myself. We did get another goodie for the Subaru, which if you watch my short I posted yesterday, we got a aftermarket China radiator. It was like $100, $106 on eBay, 126 or 130 or so shipped. Not bad. It's huge. Much bigger than the stock one. For $100 compared to whatever the Rock Auto version, which is most likely also made in China, for the plastic end cap aluminum radiator, it was a no-brainer, because we're talking about a car driven by a teenager to do teenager-y things. So anything I can build into the car as a fail-safe, like a larger radiator, we're going to do that. And then we don't know where the car is going to end up. I mean, he may get this thing and really want to rip it and do stuff. Well, going ahead and planning for the larger radiator. Since we're using STI pistons, it's already got some boosted ring gap in there. Little things like that, to allow some hot rodding to some degree on this car. But if nothing comes of it, no big deal. My only concern now is to make the car as reliable and dependable as possible while working in little upgrades here and there, since it's already a part. With that, I have an 11mm Subaru oil pump that came with that same engine, which is an upgrade for non-AVCS or single AVCS cars. I'm going to go ahead and slap that on the D, because I'm going to use a much different, probably AIG high volume ported or whatever oil pump for this engine, since it's going to be significantly more hot rodded than this one. And I already have the oil pump on hand, and it's a legit oil pump. So little stuff like that. I might go the extra mile and do the baffle pickup tube deal. The factory pickup tube looked fine. And unless I can get one cheap enough to justify it, I'm not super worried about it, because remember, this car, it's not intended to be raced, just driven. So we'll see. But that's pretty much it for the Subaru and the driveline for the GTO. In the meantime, I did check the little shipping cargo container tracker thing yesterday, and the container's on the boat. It's scheduled to hit Korea sometime in the next couple of days, and then it's going to be in LA around the 1st of June. When it gets offloaded and cleared through customs, I don't know. That could be another week or two or more. It just kind of depends on, geopolitical situation at the time and how loaded the piers are. From my understanding, there's not a whole lot in the piers right now because of the whole tariff thing, but obviously people like to report what they want versus the truth, so I can only take that with a grain of salt. My only concern right now is to try to wrap up all of these builds to the best of my ability before the parts for this get here. Because obviously the whole point of this process is to do this whole all-wheel drive thing, right? And I can't do that if I have all of these other freestanding projects, right? So get the transmission sorted, get the adapter off and running to try to, generate some extra cash to help fund the build so I can, finish all these other builds, and hopefully come this time Christmas, have a complete driveline on the ground, 4 wheels and steering GTO. Maybe STI too. I don't know. But we'll see. We will definitely see. So not a whole lot else to report other than that. I was hoping to have a little bit more accomplished by now. Unfortunately, life, and mostly life, happens. So it's no big deal. The primary purpose of this channel is to motivate people like myself. If you're watching this, like, hey man, it's not going to finish itself. The project's not going to finish itself. The car's not going to finish itself. We have to do that. So that being said, thanks for watching.